Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Syndicate Superwoman. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Seth. He lives in New Jersey. He found this thing at Target, hit me up on Instagram, I paid him, and he shipped it out the same day. I've been calling Target daily with the DCPI number. She simply hasn't hit my state yet. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Superwoman, collect to build Starro The Conqueror. This is the second of 4 figures you'll need for that. Here she is in the package, and it's a heavy package. That's due to this large Build-A-Figure piece. She comes with a display stand, a collector's card, the Starro parasite for the figure, and this big piece, which I believe is the top of Starro. Look at the teeth, the suction cups, the detail, and the sheer size of this thing. On one side of the package, Superwoman, part of the Crime Syndicate. Other side, Superwoman. The bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case it helps anybody. Sure didn't help me. And the back side, here's Starro. Checklist of parts, instructions how to build him, Starro, the rest of the wave. We know the third one is Owlman. Don't know about the other one. It's going to be either Flash or the Green Lantern Crime Syndicate version. Now, they are considerably behind schedule. As you can see, Superwoman was supposed to be out in April, and then Owlman, July, and the other one, what looks like November. Hopefully, we'll be able to complete Starro by the end of the year. So, no further ado, let's open her up. And while we're on the subject of shout-outs, I want to thank Seth again, not only for giving me Superwoman, but he sent me a picture of this Marvel Legends figure and asked me if I had him, which I did not. And he said he'd been watching my reviews and the kind of action figures I'm into, and he thought this would be a great thug of my action figure world. And he's right. So he included this in the package. I absolutely love the toy community, meeting up with people, getting hooked up. It's all good. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here she is with all her accessories laid out. She does come with 2 Starro pieces. One is to build the overall large Starro, and one is going to be a parasite to attach to your action figure's chests. She also has a display stand and a collector's card. But before I look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Superwoman from Earth 3, part of the Crime Syndicate. It's essentially an evil version of Wonder Woman. Her real identity is Donna Troy. Typically, Superwoman is portrayed as Lois Lane, but I guess in Infinite Crisis, Donna Troy is now her, and this is definitely the version they made the figure from. So let's take a look. Start with her head here. I think it looks really good. The hair, kind of wavy, covering up one of the eyes. I really get a Lady Shiva vibe off this figure. Double jointed elbows. Looks like she has the new type of wrist joints. Outfit looks good. Diaper part, a little bit too big. Kind of skirt type thing. Nice leg pieces there. They could do Zatanna or Black Canary just like this all the way up. Overall, I'm definitely pleased with what I'm looking at, and just a closer look at her face and head sculpt. Like I said before, I'm pleased with what I'm looking at. She has kind of an evil look to her. When I first saw this picture revealed a few months ago, first thing that came to mind was Lady Shiva. I think the outfit, the hair, the head, it's all spot on. Would love to see someone make a custom for her out of this. Now let's take a look at her accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's her display stand, typical McFarlane stand. We've seen it a ton of times. Black perfect scroll, says DC at the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg holes on her feet. Very thin, very basic. Now let's look at her collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Superwoman figure. Superwoman from Crime Syndicate. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's take a look at her Build-A-Figure piece. This is a part of Starro. Now, upon first glance, thought this thing was going to be huge and pop right on top of the other piece, but it's actually sort of the back side of that piece, so he's not going to be as big as I wish he'd be, but he's still a fantastic looking figure. Look at the suction cups, the tentacle, the texturing of paint all over him, very well done. Look at that mouth, reminds me of the Sarlacc beast. Whoever sculpted this thing, McFarlane, is fantastic. Excellent job. Can't wait to complete that thing. There are 2 pieces of Starro so far. The large piece that came with Superwoman, and then the center eye piece that came with Ultraman. There are 2 more pieces to complete Starro. I do wish Starro was going to be a little bit bigger. Would have been really cool if McFarlane did like an 8-figure collective build wave. And here we go. The 2 pieces put together. Starro the Conqueror is halfway complete. Giant eye, couple of smaller eyes. The skin detail is phenomenal. This thing is going to be really cool when it's done. Now let's look at our Starro Parasite piece. Made of sort of a rubbery material. Very movable. It's got the same 3 eyes, a lot smaller. It's a pretty small version of Starro. This will wrap around your figure's chest, and it's a parasite taking control of them. We now have 2 of these things. One from Ultraman, one from Superwoman. You can bet we're going to have 4 of them when the wave is complete. And that's pretty cool. Starro shooting out a bunch of parasites. Here's both Superwoman and Ultraman with the Starro parasites attached. They're under the control of Starro the Conqueror. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and her accessories. Now let's check out her height. From bottom to the top of her head, she's standing at about 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out her articulation. But first, I want to compliment McFarlane. This figure has the new ankle joints, not those hideous ball joints. A lot more seamless, and they function every bit as good. And her wrists here, they are actually the older ball joint, but they're sunken in or a lot smaller. They look very nice. So starting with her head here, of course, they're going to rotate from side to side. She can't really look up too much, down, a little bit there. Can't tilt her head from one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint, goes up more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. She's got a butterfly joint between her shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion. Bicep cut, although don't get too much out of that. Double jointed elbows, they go all the way in. Her wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. Now, she's got a ball joint in her waist, rotate around, forward and back. I think everything else is a solid piece here. Legs, does the splits, not completely out. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is non-existent. They go forward that far, back about that much. Double jointed knees, then her ankle here, forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, although mine seems to be a little bit stuck there, and to articulation. Here's Superwoman flying above the city skies, above the rooftops. A closer look at Superwoman. Here's Superwoman and Ultraman, the crime syndicate of America. They're threatening the President of the United States. They're telling him either he does what they tell him to do, or they'll control him and make him do that. And here is Superwoman taking out Wonder Woman. 2 different multiverses. Now let's check her out next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. There's Ultraman next to Superwoman. Ultraman was the first figure in this wave. I believe in the comics on Earth 3, Ultraman and Superwoman are married. They have a kid together, but they later find out it's Owlman's child, not Ultraman's. Speaking of Owlman, he's going to be the next figure in this wave. And then the 4th figure, we don't know for certain, but my money's on it's going to be the evil version of the Green Lantern. Hopefully down the road, they'll give us the Flash version of the Crime Syndicate as a one-off. Here's Superwoman next to the 1984 Wonder Woman. This is the most normal, standard, classic Wonder Woman that McFarlane has made so far. I don't know why they're dragging their feet on the comic release. And here she is, next to the Todd McFarlane designed Wonder Woman, the gold label variant. I would say the 1984 Wonder Woman is probably my favorite, because she sits in my Justice League as a normal looking Wonder Woman. This one is my next favorite. Here's Superwoman next to all the different Wonder Woman figures McFarlane has made so far. Still hoping for that classic or iconic regular comic version. And here are all the female figures McFarlane has made in their DC Multiverse line so far. We have a total of 26 different figures and 8 different characters. Now let's check her out next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is next to the 2 most recent Mega figures, Killer Croc and Man-Bat. Then next to both versions of the Zarnar Batman. And here she is, next to all 3 variations of the Infinite Frontier Robin. Then, with the Batman vs. Hush 2-pack, here is Superwoman next to Ghostmaker and the single version of Hush. And here she is, next to Red Robin and a Superboy. And now, next to the Batman Who Laughs dressed as Batman, and the Entertainment Earth exclusive glow-in-the-dark Batman Beyond. Then, next to Grifter and the Arkham Knight. Here she is, next to the TV's Flash and comic Godspeed. And finally, next to the most recent Injustice 2 figures, Green Arrow and Reverse Flash. Now let's check her out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how she fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know what signs you can mix her with. Since she's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller. But first, we're going to check her out with some of her McFarlane Toys brothers and sisters. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. And here she is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, next to some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here she is, next to some Mezco 1/12 collected figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here she is, with some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, I'd say it's a very nice figure. I really like the sculpt and body type of this figure. Her articulation is excellent. Only thing missing is some thigh rotation. Her accessories are cool, but she doesn't come with anything that actually goes to herself. Sculpt and paint job are excellent, no issues there. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give her an 8 out of 10. Enjoying her a lot, think she looks good, and she's been a great addition to the Crime Syndicate. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.